What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to today's Raid Shadow Legends video, where we're going to do a list of the best or some very useful uncommons in the game, to a point where we could almost say, are they better than rares? Even, are they better than epics? And could we go as far as saying, are they better than certain legendaries, right? So this is going to be somewhat of a follow-up of the small series that I started on this specific player who has undertaken the challenge of doing free-to-play with basically somewhat like farmables only, or free champions that you get, like the Haikatoon, right, the Jizzo, the Shaman, then basically uncommons, some of the rares that you can farm from the campaign. So what I want to do is cover some of the potential uncommon champions that he could be using, or perhaps some of you guys are using. In fact, I know that some of them are actually used all the way into the end game. I'll show you guys some examples, and we're just going to zip through this because there's no need to spend a lot of time on them. But I will say this, I'm not going to use a tier list because I don't typically keep track of the uncommons, but I still made a short list of some of the potential ones that I think you guys might have to consider if you're just starting out, or perhaps you're doing the whole free-to-play thing. Okay, so let's get going. In no particular order, let's start with the magic champions. The first one I'm going to talk about is War Chanter. I do remember seeing this champion quite a bit last year. Maybe not that much, but still I did remember seeing a couple of well-built War Chanters. They could be somewhat annoying because they have the stun on the A1, then they have an AoE decrease attack and provoke, which is very interesting for this level of champion. The next two in the magic affinity are very similar. In fact, I think they're basically the exact same copy of each other. It's Archer and the other one is called Sniper, but they have an A1 that fills the turn meter by 15%. If it's a critical hit, then an extra 15% chance of critting. I do remember seeing some teams that had like 2 archers or like 2 snipers last year, quite a bit in the arena. You'd be surprised just how much damage these two can deal. Also, this A2 right here being exactly the same on the other one. Like I said, the other one is right here, Dark Elves, called Sniper, right? It's basically an exact copy of one of another. I think the stats are slightly different. Okay, now let's move on to the Force champions, starting with, of course, one of our favorite, Outlaw Monk. Now this guy is very useful in the beginning because he gives you access to a 5% poison debuff on the target. It's a place right, so it's perfect for the clan boss. All you need is a decent amount of accuracy. And I'll show you guys this here real quick, right? Last year I was using this champion when I did the second account a little bit earlier, or at the end of the year, right? We started with 2 Outlaw Monks because I didn't have like a Cold Heart. I wasn't lucky enough to pull the Cold Heart on that second account, so we went with like the 2 Outlaw Monk method. All the way to 50 is decent. We fully ascended them, but then you end up using them or him as food, right? Because he does become obsolete, but he's still very good in the beginning. Also has the chance for an extra turn, so if you have like early relentless sets, hey, that might be a great plan to boost your clan boss damage. The next one is this guy, also in this Sacred Order category. It's the Crusader because he does have the ally joining the attack. And he's not the only one. In fact, there is another similar champion to this guy as well, called, if I'm not mistaken, Sergeant, right? Also in the Sacred Order. Kind of the same thing once again. Similar stats, but I think perhaps the Crusader is no, same speed too. So if anything, in the beginning, this might be useful. You might wonder, well, what would I need this? Like, I don't have an AoE A1 champion. Hold on, I will get to one of those. There is an uncommon that has an AoE A1, which I think would work very well with this champion right here. The next one is actually not an uncommon, it's a common. So I'm gonna put her in the list because Sister Militant, I have seen some builds all the way to rank 6. AoE A1, so this would be a great example with the Crusader or the Sergeant, right? So this could be somewhat useful in the beginning. Of course, the stats kind of suck at level 60, right? So you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it? But it's still an AoE A1, which is better, like I said in the beginning, than a lot of epic, even perhaps some legendary and or rare champions, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the spirit champions. That was basically it for the Force. But in fact, the first one is, all right, he's still in the Sacred Order. So we're back in here with Armiger. Now, Armiger is an endgame player, right? I do see a lot of builds using him, mainly for the Fire Knight and the Spider level 20, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about him because there is a lot of information on this guy, but I will basically say this here real quick, right? I'm just going to show you. Here's a perfect example. Here's Cold Brew using Armiger with the new fusion, and even one of the other uncommons that I will cover called Elfguard. I think these are very good champions and overlooked for endgame stuff because once again they're not shiny legendaries. Okay, so let's keep going. After Armiger, we're going to talk about Saurus. Saurus is one of the champions typically used as a farmer for Brutal 12-3, but also has the AoE A1, which could work well with the Crusader or Sergeant for allies joining attack. Okay, so that's another example. I think before I said like there was one. In fact, there's actually a couple of AoE A1 uncommons. Okay, let's keep going. The next one is, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Dampier, whatever. This champion right here with a DH, how do you even say that? Okay, so grants an extra turn if the target is killed, but it's this AoE heal that she has on herself. When I started last year, didn't know anything about the game, I actually built one of these champions because I thought it was pretty cool that she could self-heal. So it kind of freed up a champion that I did not necessarily need to use my lifesteal sets early on. They kind of went on like my starter champions. Anyway, kind of played around with her, but I'm just going to put her in there. And then next one is actually the one we just talked about. It's the Elfguard. Now this champion has a very, very interesting A2 on a 2-turn cooldown. It's not even a percentage chance of happening. It's you attack and it decreases the turn meter by 50%. This controls the Spider Queen very, very well. So like I said, Cold Brew is using her. It's not the first content creator I've seen using this champion all the way into the end game, and I think she is overlooked, right? Okay, the next one is from the Barbarians. It's once again another farmer. This one is based out of defense, right? But he has this skill right here on a 2-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies, fills this champion's turn meter by 20% on each critical hit. And then it's based off of defense, right? Also has the ability to remove debuffs on a passive from himself, and then has a regular A1, we'll say, right? But Shield Guard also really, really good. I think he is worthy of all the way into the end game, at least being your 12-3 brutal farmer. The next one is Zephyr Sniper, also in here with the Barbarians. AoE A1, but this one has a built-in form of CC. Okay, so I have seen this champion used before as a tank for Spider 20. I think that one was Stu Gaming if I'm not mistaken, but once again I think it's very she's very overlooked, right? Also has the ability to place continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns. This is very interesting. Like, it's a defense-based champion that has like CC and a built-in kind of heal, also a decent amount of speed to start with, so very good. Zephyr Sniper, AoE A1, you can work that with the Crusader or of the Sergeant. Then the next one is another one that I think is somewhat overlooked. It's this guy right here, Outlander, because he has an AoE decreased turn meter by 30%. It's only 75%, but still, it is pretty decent. So if you're just looking to get past some missions, you can deal with the basically the fact that it's not always going to work, right? You're not that worried about getting 100% success rate. You just kind of want to control the turn meter of enemies. So in the absence of hard CC, this is a form of soft crowd control, the turn meter reduction. So once again, I think very overlooked. All right, the next one is actually one that I forgot in the Magic, and it's going to be, I think, the last one for now. Also in Barbarians, right? I think, let me find her. Yeah, Dervish, right here. So I have seen some players recently build her. I think she has good multipliers. Like, she hits relatively hard, okay? Like, she's obviously not like an S-tier nuker here, but still, she might be able to do some work for you guys. She has the 50% heal reduction, which is needed for the Spirit Affinity. So sometimes this might be good for you guys if you're just trying once again to complete those missions. Okay, so guys, I think that's going to be it. A couple of uncommons. Like I said, I wanted to follow up on the video that I started about the ultimate free-to-play challenge, and I thought that this would give you guys some options if you want to give it a shot. Maybe you want to wait until they fix the arena though, right? Because we do know that's a big problem, but still, these uncommons I think are useful to some extent. And like I said, confirm it though, please. Do you think that some of these are better than rares or epics or even legendaries? Let me know in the comments below. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later.